The New York Yankees have absolutely stolen the second to last day of the trade deadline. 2 moves before 5 p.m. Eastern on August 1st has dramatically increased their chances of winning the World Series. They needed to strengthen their pitching staff that got hurt over the past month, and they did it in spades without giving up anything of significance. Their first move, making a trade out of nowhere with the Cubs, getting Scott Effros for the number 7 prospect in their system. Effros is a really solid middle reliever. He has a funky sidearm delivery from the right side. He does a great job of tunneling a 90 to 92 mile an hour fastball with an 80 to 77 mile an hour slider. On paper, he doesn't blow you away, but when you watch him pitch, he is the exact piece you need to a bullpen full of flamethrowers to keep everyone off guard. He throws different than everyone else in that pitching staff from the right side, and he is the perfect change of pace to bridge the gap in a potential Game 7 when you have Garrett Cole, who you hope goes 7 strong, and Clay Holmes, who's coming in to pitch the 9th. He will throw off timing. He will make people uncomfortable. It was a solid pickup. He also has 5 years of control left, so this wasn't a 1-year move for the Yankees. This was a 5-year move. It was brilliant by Cashman. Not to be outdone, he then goes and gets one of the gems, one of the prize jewels of the trade deadline by grabbing Frankie Montas from the Athletics along with Trevino for a handful of players who have either had a cup of tea or hope to one day maybe have a cup of tea in the major leagues. He gave up virtually nothing to go get arguably one of the 2 best pitchers available at the deadline and a throw-in bullpen piece who's having an awful year but has the ability and has had success in the past to turn it around. Montas is going to slide in right behind Garrett Cole. Here's what they're looking at now. If Severino comes back strong, and he is the Severino of 3-4 years ago, you have Cole, Severino, Montas. The only team in the playoffs that will be better than that or as good as that in the AL is the Astros, and in the NL is the New York Mets. They are guaranteeing themselves that they are breaking even or better than almost every single potential playoff matchup they have with that pitching staff that they now have assembled. Montas is going to go out there and give you 6 innings and 3 runs or less almost every single time out the rest of the year and in the postseason, and with the Yankees lineup, that is going to be more than enough to win games. The Yankees obviously get an A+. I think the Cubs get a C here. They didn't do terrible, but they should have never made this move. I don't know why you would trade Effros. He's having a really good year on a really bad team. They should have just kept him. He would have been a good part of the middle of their bullpen for at least the next 5 years. And then the A's get an F-. I mean, it's pathetic. There was such a lack of pitchers. We talked about in the Luis Castillo video. The Reds took advantage of the high market demand and they made out like bandits. The A's did the polar opposite. The A's gave up more than the Reds did and got 1/10 of their return. The A's should, honest to God, after this be investigated by Major League Baseball, and it should be a forced sale situation because this is slap in the face to their fan base. They've been suffering through so much the last few years. There's the potential move now. They're talking about stadium proposal. Everything's up in the air. They should be forced. Get rid of that ownership group. Bring in someone. If they want to stay in the Bay Area, great. If not, then move on. But that ownership group should legitimately be done. This should be the final straw that breaks the camel's back. It's something that was coming for the last 10 years. It should be forced now. This is a pathetic job by the A's. It's embarrassing. It's flat out embarrassing. Now, with all that said, how potent the Yankees are right now, there is still one more move I would make if I'm Brian Cashman. Here's what you do. You take Jordan Montgomery from the rotation. You take Jonathan Loaizaga from the bullpen. You take Gleyber Torres out of the lineup. You take Peraza, Dominguez, and Volpe out of your farm system, and you ship them off to DC to bring back Juan Soto. If the Yankees got really aggressive and made that offer, I don't think anyone tops it, and they would have the best lineup in baseball with the deepest pitching rotation in the AL. They would be borderline unstoppable. They would be the odds-on favorite to win the World Series. They would almost guarantee themselves that they have their hand raised as the last team standing at the end of the year. Cashman needs to be aggressive. If I was a Yankee fan, I would be screaming my lungs out for this move for the next 24 and a half hours. If he makes the deal to go get Juan Soto, I don't see anyone beating the New York Yankees this year, and he protects himself if Judge leaves next year. It is a move that is a no-brainer to me. The whole point in having all of these prospects and refusing to give them up over the last 2-3 years in trades is for this moment, to do it all in a move that almost guarantees you that you are going to be put over the top to win the championship and secure yourself a stud for the next 10 years in Yankee Stadium. Cashman, go make that move and you are bringing home a World Series, and all the criticism of you the last 5-6 years goes away. Don't make that move. You leave your team vulnerable, and it might be something that absolutely tarnishes your legacy. That is it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the sub button. I'm going to have plenty of trade deadline videos coming out the next next 48 hours on this channel, including a Josh Hader one later today. So make sure you come back to get the rest of them. I'll see you guys in the next one.